Okay. All right. Mics are live.
Are we live?
Yeah,
Can they
we're
see us?
live. They can see us. They can hear us. Hopefully.
Are we two
Hey.
hand waving?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, you are.
Love it. Yes.
It's
Oh, I thought it was
obnoxious.
us. What? Why? Okay, what's wrong with the two hand wave?
Who
Nothing's
said it
wrong
was
with it.
bad?
No, it just
You
looked
said it was
weird.
obnoxious.
I mean, yeah, when you
Well,
do it.
It does look weird.
When
I was
do
gonna.
it.
I mean, I was gonna make the comment that I think you've been in Britain a bit too long at this point.
Has it gotten to my head, you think?
Yeah, because of the two hand wave.
I I genuinely wish the British would two hand wave. Just like, oi, bruv! Like that. That's what I want.
That just seemed. Well, I mean, not really that. It seems like that would be a Python episode.
Oh, 100% it would. Yes, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Let's get into it.
let's do
The
it.
Ministry of Silly Waves.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm Alan.
And I'm Devin.
And today we're going to be talking about Ryan's pick, the 1997 sci-fi film Event Horizon, starring Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne. He was Lawrence in this, not Larry, right? I think it was Lawrence by this point.
According to Wikipedia,
Lawrence.
he was Lawrence.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're gonna be talking about that.
That's
Before
good.
we get started, how you guys doing? It's been a long week. It feels like.
It has. I keep forgetting that you all have Thanksgiving soon, and every time it gets brought up, I'm a little bit jealous because everyone's like, "Oh yeah, taking off Wednesday. I got Wednesday off." I'm like, "Why are you off Wednesday?" Now I'm sad.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe you could always just put in for the day off and say that it's part of, it's like it's a cultural thing that you have to do.
Part of my heritage.
It's technically it's American culture.
So then I should.
and you're American, so
So then I should also take off Black Friday because I need them sweet deals, and I should also take off the Monday after because it's the first day of deer hunting season because that happened in our school as well.
so one, you're thinking
It's gonna be one of those days where we just lose Ryan repeatedly.
It might be. Did I get the day right? Did I not get the deer season day right?
I don't know.
Hey,
did
you're
I
back.
just cut out there,
Yeah,
or did you
you
guys
did.
hear all that?
You did. It's
Okay.
okay.
Heard none
It
of it.
happens.
So one,
was-
it's a Pennsylvania thing, and two, is Black Friday a British thing or not? I don't know. You would know.
We've had Black Friday sales starting since like last week. It's not a day.
Oh.
It's more of like a vibe.
Well, that's
here, too.
That's how it is here now too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
Oh.
for the past couple of years.
Ah, well.
Thanks, COVID.
Never mind. Me.
I mean, speaking of Thanksgiving, Ryan, Devin, you watched something that has to do with Thanksgiving, the holiday. Of course, I'm talking about Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. See what I did there?
I was
So,
ve-
Pilgrim.
I was good. I was very thankful to have watched
Yes.
this, guys. Okay, have you guys seen this yet?
No,
Have you
not
guys
yet.
seen this? I love it, guys. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I cannot tell you how much I love this. It has all the original cast back, but I don't want to give anything away, but it's not the same as the movie.
Okay.
And it's not the same as the movie to the point where I now prefer this. I don't know that I could watch the movie now.
Oh, really?
Yes, because I really love what they and okay. I understand that there's a difference between a movie length and a series length, where you can really dig into character in series length. I totally get that, but it makes the movie seem so flat now that I just really love this. But obviously, I don't know that this TV series works without having seen the movie. So
Okay. Would you recommend watching the
I
movie
love it.
before going into this?
if you we watched it for the podcast. If you vaguely remember some parts of it because we did it on the podcast, then do it. I'll give out one little teensy tiny little morsel for you to tell you one of the reasons why I love it. There's a character in the movie whose name is Edgar Wrong. You had me. You had me at Edgar Wrong.
I do know some people who have cameos in this, and I'm excited to watch it just for that.
And it comes full circle because the cameo that I know that you know about is the original inspiration for the humor in the original version of this. And then they invited that person back around to do a voice in this, and I love it.
Oh, I don't think
Unless
that's
you don't.
that's not who I know about that one too. I was thinking about cameos.
Oh, gotcha.
There's a
Oh,
duo.
oh,
Yeah.
oh. Oh, gotcha.
I
Okay,
forgot
there
about
was a
that one.
single cameo.
So,
How could
but
you forget
yeah,
about that one?
yeah.
That's our favorite one.
Yeah, that had me sold on it immediately. I was like, I got to finish this
Yeah.
other thing first, but which we'll talk about here in a second. But yeah, so you recommend Scott Pilgrim Takes Off on Netflix?
I've almost watched it twice already. I don't do that.
How
It's a
many
problem.
episodes is
I have
it?
a problem. 8, and each one's 30 minutes long.
Okay,
With a very long theme song, so each one's like 28 minutes long.
I've got a long weekend. I'm here for it.
Don't keep rubbing it in. Don't do that. I'll be working. Think
You
about
had
me.
like a week off when Charles became like moved his chess piece or whatever, and
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. We did get off a lot for
Yeah.
the monarchy here.
yeah. Ryan, how about you? You watched a movie over the past
I
week.
did. I watched the Last Voyage of the Dementor?
Yes.
I wanted to watch
Did I
this.
get that right? Okay. Yeah, so it is good. It's a good vampire movie, and it's set at sea. I mean, it's creepy. It has the feel of the sci-fi movie that we're going to be talking about, where you've got a bunch of people stuck on a ship with something that's killing them. So, like, think of Alien, but on a wooden ship, and it's Dracula instead of an alien.
I also gotta
It's
say,
good.
I love if what I see on the posters is Dracula's design in this. I
Yeah.
love his design in this.
It is classic, ugly, like demonistic Dracula.
Yeah, that is very cool.
And it's very, very hard hitting. It does leave room for like a second one, because this movie is based on the captain's log of the Dementor from the book Dracula.
Yeah.
So like this movie is like one part of the actual book. And if they were to want to make a second one to continue that story, I think they should, because I will see it. I highly recommend it. It's just a good, hard-hitting adult vampire movie.
Cool.
And it's got what's his name in it? Liam Cunningham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Davos.
yeah. He's so good. I
Yeah.
like him in almost everything I've seen him in.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Dracula guy, but I might check this out because I've only heard good things about it. So
Wait, did you guys see they're making a new Nosferatu movie?
I
Yeah.
did.
Not to completely derail this conversation, but it like took me a second today when I saw that. Neat.
Yeah. I also just followed a saga of a guy on TikTok who had a print of Nosferatu, like the original, like on 16 millimeter film. And like
Wow.
trying to get that to work and transferring it off of the reel it was on to a reel that it would fit. And it was a whole ordeal. And
It's very cool though.
it is very cool. And it made me want to start collecting things. So,
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need to find a hobby. You
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to find something to
I don't have enough.
No, it's
yeah.
certainly not.
But I've been watching a thing. I've been teasing this for a while on the show, and I finally finished it. I have watched all of Avatar: The Last Airbender after
That
years.
makes me so happy.
After years and years of my brother, my sister, and my brother-in-law being like, "You should watch this show. Like, you'll like this show." It's like I've seen episodes of it because it was on it was on like the air. My brother watched it when we were growing up, and I was like, this looks good, but there's too much lore for me to like pick it up an episode here or there. I needed to sit down and just watch the whole thing, and I did, and it's awesome. Isn't it? I had watched enough by the time the Netflix trailer dropped for the live action to be like, oh, this looks good.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing that I did was when I finished the first season, I was like, Okay, so at what point do I watch the movie? And my brother's like, you don't.
Oh, we should do the movie for the podcast.
We should. When the show comes
We're going
out.
to at some point.
When the
Yeah,
show
we're-
comes
okay,
out, we
will.
have to.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
synergy.
Okay.
And
Yep.
SEO, like we're gonna do that.
Yep.
We're gonna put ourselves through that. But no, I really enjoyed the show. I like the action of it. I like the sense of humor with it, which I really hope the Netflix show keeps, because it is silly at times, and I really hope it keeps that levity, because it does deal with some heavy stuff. But I think if they're able to find that balance of seriousness with the silliness, like it'll work very well. But yeah, I really enjoyed the show.
Ah, that makes me so happy. How do you? Okay, I gotta ask like the question. Then is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about Aang and Katara? I think it was a forced relationship. I wasn't overly pumped about it.
I mean, they were hinting at it the whole show. If anything, I felt like the finale was very rushed.
Yeah, okay, that was part of it for me.
Yeah. Especially binging it, because it's like, well, I didn't binge it, but I watched it within like the last 2 months. And like the finale just felt like it's rushed, because even it's a 4-part finale. In the first part, Zuko's like, come on, we got to train for this thing that's tomorrow. It's like, wait, what? It's tomorrow? Like, oh yeah, we're not going to do that. Oh, okay, we're not going to do that tomorrow. It's like, no, this is the finale, guys. Like, wait, what? I was like, okay, the final arc felt a little rushed, but I'm gonna guess that's Nickelodeon not wanting to pay for a 4th season, and they're like, okay, we're gonna wrap this up quick.
And done.
Yeah. Speaking of Nickelodeon, I wanted to bring this up on the show, and I forgot to pull a poster for it. I went to Arby's, and I got the Good Burger meal.
I know about this. How was it?
It was good.
Yeah?
It had Ed sauce on it. We did it wrong. Ed sauce is pretty much just Thousand Island dressing. So.
Oh, got it.
We did it wrong. We went to Arby's, got the burger, came home from grocery shopping, and then watched Good Burger.
Oh, nice.
But Good Burger 2 drops this week, so that's what I'll be doing. So.
Where does it drop this week? I
Paramount.
didn't know that was
Paramount
happening.
Plus.
Oh shoot! Okay, I can watch that.
Yeah.
Does it look good?
I haven't really seen much for it. It's Good Burger 2. I'm gonna watch it. I'm a child of the '90s, Devin.
That's fair. I'm gonna watch it too. Oh, that's cool. I'm so jealous.
Ryan, are you gonna watch Good Burger 2?
I don't know. I'm very, very, very shaky about a lot of the trailers.
Really?
I am. So
Tell me. I don't know anything about this.
I love Good Burger. Kristen and I watch it. It's Good Burger is one of those movies that we put on if there's nothing else. Like if we can't think of anything, then like it's one of the movies that I just go to put on. I love the skits on Nickelodeon growing up. Between Keenan and Kel and in general, it's just it has nothing to do with like the humor or anything. It's just I feel like after a certain point, it's just really late for a sequel. Like really, 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 really late for a sequel.
I agree, but also if they can play with that, like the fact that they got Kenan Thompson back for this is amazing to me.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that the both of them were able to like settle things to the point where they were able to work with each other to make this. Like, I'm very, very happy about that.
They have settled things a few years ago, I think, because they've done stuff on Nickelodeon or on SNL and the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
But I want to say that Kenan Thompson has enough sway to say I'm not going to do this unless it's worth doing. Like I don't think he would do it just for the paycheck. I could be wrong, but I'm optimistic for it. I'm excited for it. Do I think it's going to be a great film? No. It's
no.
it's going to be
It's
Good
not.
Burger too. Like it's going to be fun. Like I just want to have fun. So,
Okay,
but
I'm
so
excited.
I think the main thing is that there was a joke in the trailer that rubbed me completely the wrong way because I feel like Ed is not that stupid, and it made me mad. And it's the one where
I haven't seen the trailer, so
Yeah, me neither.
yeah. We'll talk about
the
it next week.
one.
We'll talk about it next
Yeah,
show.
fine,
We'll talk.
fine,
Yeah.
fine. We'll bring
We're
it up
gonna
next
have to.
week, and because it just the first time I saw the trailer, I was all into it, and I'm like, man, Ed really looks his age, and I'm like, man, this is rough. And then the one joke happens. I'm like, oh, Ed's not that stupid. This is dumb. Like that was literally my like reaction to the one gag in the trailer.
All right, now I'm gonna have to try to clock that when I watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I think that does it for our We Watch This segment that I forgot to introduce. We just kind of started talking because I saw a pun and I wanted to go for it. Worth it.
Good.
We're going to move on to today's main topic, which is Ryan's pick, the 1997 film Event Horizon, starring Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne. Ryan, take it away.
Okay, so movie came out in 1997. I didn't see it, obviously, when it first came out because it was rated R, and there was no way my parents were going to take me to see this in theaters. I saw it later on my own. It just happened that my dad was working and my mom wasn't home yet, and it was like 1998, and it was on HBO. And I saw it, and I instantly fell in love with it because it reminded me so much of Alien and Aliens. And so I eventually got it on DVD, which is the DVD that I own for it right now. And it's old, it's bad, it's really bad quality. Like it is like pixelated and blurry and like standard def. And I went online after I watched it for the show and I bought a Blu-ray right away as I was watching it. This movie is, for a long time, was in my top 5 when I was a teenager. I watched it more than I probably should have. It's where, whenever I think of Lawrence Fishburne, this is what I think of. This is the role that I think of him in, not The Matrix. Wow. It's this movie for me. And with the other actor, Sam Neill, it all depends on my mood. Sometimes I see him and I think, oh, the guy from Event Horizon, or I think, oh, it's the guy from Jurassic Park. So like, to me, the role that he plays in this compared to the role he plays in that, they're pretty much even for me. Like for where I know them from.
Devin, what's your go-to for Lawrence Fishburne? Like when you think of Lawrence Fishburne, what's the role that you think of first?
Oh, it's Morpheus, 100%.
Morpheus?
And if I'd be wearing my Jurassic Park shirt like I'm stereotypically not today, Sam Neill's my Jurassic Park guy.
Yeah.
What about you?
Sam Neill is the Jurassic Park 3 guy because his name's Alan. And you have the raptor yelling his name. For me, Lawrence Fishburne's always going to be Cowboy Curtis from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Whoa. That is a deep pull.
That is going back. But yeah, so this, I know that this movie has issues, and I will be explaining why this movie has the issues it has later on. But to me, this is one of those movies that someone could try to sit me down and point out every little bad thing about, like point out every single detail as to why this movie has a 35 Metacritic score. And I would just look at him and say, I don't care. I love this movie. Blemishes and all. So that's my history with this. Either of you two want to go first? I want to hear if you knew about this movie and your experience watching it for the first time.
Do you want to go first, Alan?
This is one of those movies that I always get confused. Like, there's that. I wasn't sure if this is one of those Mars movies. Like, I feel like this is a Sam Neill Mars movie or something. I knew it was a space thing. That's about all I knew about it. It was either a space thing or like I think I get this confused with Deep Impact.
There's also Mission to Mars. I think
Mission
might be the
Mission
one
to
you're.
Mars,
There's
Yeah.
Mission to Mars and Red Planet.
Red Planet. That's the one I was thinking of. I mean, you've already had me watch the Alien movies, so this was kind of just a B version of that.
Yeah.
So it was kind of predictable. Some of the side effects are a little cheesy, but yeah.
I had
I'll
always.
be right back.
I'll go for it.
Okay.
In terms of this movie, I think I always kind of compared it to, in my mind, like 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think even including your intro last week, where you were like, "I'm in for a real nightmare before Christmas," and I'm like, "We're gonna watch Philosophy in Space," and then I like
Yeah.
turned the movie on and went, "Oh, it's not that, is it?"
Yeah.
I don't know if Alan had given his impressions yet, but I'll go ahead and just give overall impressions,
Okay.
just because he's not here right now. I realize I really like horror in space movies.
Yes.
I really like that. That is a really evocative concept for me. And especially when you start playing with like the other dimensions thing. I've
Hmm.
seen other dimensions happen in the basement of a house 8 bajillion times.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen other dimensions happen on a spaceship outside of the new Doom video game.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really, really cool. Like, I think I'm almost with you. Where like, and I guess you'll probably have to walk me through some of the flaws that people didn't like
Yeah.
in this movie. I don't think it's flawless, but I don't think that it did anything egregious enough to warrant what a 3 point something rating on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever. I don't think that it's that bad of a movie. Like I enjoyed
Yeah.
it for what it was. Sure, special effects are cheesy. It's like
It's
horror movie special
1997.
effects. Horror movie special effects for me are like jokes in
Yeah.
comedies, right? The farther away you get from their release, the worse it's going to be. The worse your experience is going to be.
Yeah.
Like comedy ages poorly, special effects in horror movies age poorly. So like you can't fault it for that.
Yeah. So my I don't want to touch on the flaws and the movie making issues that this thing had without Alan, since he's kind of our resident expert. So without
Okay.
Alan here, I'm going to oh, hey, he's back. Awesome.
Well, hold on. Did you? I gotta. While he's like buckling in, I gotta tell you like my Devin experience with the movie because
Awesome.
according to me, I had this movie figured out from the first like 8 minutes of the movie,
Yeah.
and the whole time I expected the twist in my head to be what happens, to the point where I didn't accept what was happening on screen almost ever until I read the Wikipedia article about it.
I
So
really
that was
want
my
to go
Devin.
through this. I
We-
Yeah,
really,
we
please
totally
let's
get-
go. Let's go through it.
yeah,
Please.
yeah. Please. Let's
So
let's start it with you.
The second they were like, "Oh, we're gonna get the oh my god, I'm gonna mess this one up. Carbon monoxide scrubbers, or is it dioxide? I think it's monoxide."
Whichever.
The second they're like, "We're gonna get the carbon scrubbers," I'm like, "Got it. They're gonna get onto the new ship. It's gonna need scrubbers. They're not gonna have them, or they're not gonna be good enough, and all of this is gonna be a hallucination brought on by excess carbon monoxide in the atmosphere." That's what's going to happen, and we're going to see some horror stuff, but we're going to find out at the end it was just them going crazy to the point where every single thing that happened, I'm like, hallucinating, also hallucinating, that didn't happen, that also didn't happen, that's not Sam Neill. Like I like didn't believe what the movie was showing me because I was so set on this happening that I had to like read the Wikipedia article for it to go, no, all of this is canon, Devin, this wasn't nothing.
Okay, so going forward for the show,
Yeah.
if I bring on a horror movie that I say that I like, okay,
Yeah.
it will never ever end with, oh, none of this was actually real, because I hate that with a passion.
Do you?
Like, oh, I can't stand stuff like that. That's why I don't like the Babadook or Duke or whatever that movie's called.
So like for me, like
You
it
love
all
the
kept playing.
movie,
I
but
do. I love the
can't
Babadook.
I can't take that type of like story twist where it's like, oh, it was all in their head. Dumb. Come up with a
No,
better ending because that's a cop out.
for me, this was all playing out so well because it was feeding on fears that each crew
Yeah.
member had talked about individually and their specific pasts. And I'm like, the only thing that could possibly know that is him and the carbon monoxide in his head. Like I would
I can
not stop
totally
beating this
see
drum.
where you're coming from, though. I can
Yeah.
totally see it. And part of, like their fears, the director of this movie, Paul Anderson, actually had each actor come up with their own backstory that they knew, so that it would make it easier
wow.
for them to like play their character. Like he wanted all of them to come up with their own backstory.
That's very cool. I really like that.
I think it's important to point out it's Paul W.S. Anderson, not the other Paul
Anderson. Paul Anderson.
Are those different people?
Yeah. There's Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh. This guy did Alien versus Predator.
Mm-hmm. This guy is fun. This guy, like, if you were to create a Mount Rushmore of directors that are, like, for some reason have made more that has made more cult classics than actual, like, hit movies, he'd be one of them.
Pompeii, starring Kit Harington.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to be a big one.
In the original Mortal Kombat movie.
Is he married to the star of Resident Evil movies?
Mila Jovovich.
I don't. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't ever care about celebrities' marriages.
I think he had a. I mean, he also. Oh, he might also like. But anyway, so. This movie, to get into the issues that this movie has, the issues that are there that you have to talk about, that even me who loves this movie, I need to, be honest about it. The issues that this movie has all stem from the fact that this movie originally was supposed to be 130 minutes long, and it got a NC-17 rating on its first go-through.
Wow.
So the test audiences and the studio said, you need to cut like 30 minutes of this stuff out because it's too violent and sexual.
Was it like 130 minutes of just more body horror?
Probably.
Okay.
So they cut 30 minutes. They cut 30 minutes of footage, and the director even says that there were about 10 minutes that he shouldn't have cut because he was under the gun to get it ready in time. So he does have some regrets about the finished product because he wasn't able to like connect some dots in the plot. And you can see that with how fast this movie goes. Now, growing up through middle school and high school after I saw this movie, this is one of the movies, and I was telling Kristen about this because I realized it on my watch through for this week. I think this movie and a few others is the reason why I am not a slow burn movie person.
Oh.
Because I mean, like I said, I watched this movie more than I probably should have growing up. And so this movie and a few others combined, and like Starship Troopers and some other movies that I really liked when I was younger, they're all fast paced. They all get, it's like, here's this character, here's that character, here's the simple plot, this is what we have to do, and then they just get thrown into the fire.
Another reason why you should go see the Marvels, because
is that it?
Yeah, it's very fast paced. So, Devin, you thought the whole thing was just them hallucinating because of lack of oxygen?
The whole thing. And literally to the point where even at the end of it, I was like, I got this plot figured out. They didn't say no. That's me. That was my
So-
journey through this
So
movie.
my question for you
Ugh.
then is in your whatever's going on in your head there, how do you explain the visions that Sam Neill has before he's even on the ship to go out to the event horizon?
Just guilt. And that was what I thought was the connector, was that he was having the visions of his wife, right? And that
Yeah.
the visions that he was having was him him basically dreaming about being sorry about his wife, and then those being amplified by the effects of the lack of oxygen.
Was it his wife though? Do they ever say that
Oh,
it's his
no.
wife?
I thought it was. Did
Ryan,
they not say it was
do
his
they
wife?
say it's his wife?
I believe, because I haven't really looked into it, because when I find a movie that I really, really like, I just run with my own thing and I don't really look things up.
So what do you think?
Familiar.
What do you think? Because I have a hot take.
What I think it is.
Ryan, cut out.
What a tense time.
Am I there? Am I
Yeah,
back?
you're back now.
Do
Yeah.
it again.
Okay.
that again.
So I believe it is the ship that came back and it is reaching out to him.
No.
Yeah. I had that epiphany as we were talking about it here. I was
Oh.
like, oh, it's the ship.
Yeah,
That's
because
so cool.
because the ship went to this other dimension instead of going to the nearest star, and it because I'm like here when the Lewis and Clark, the rescue ship, gets to the event horizon around Neptune, you've got that one British actress doing the scan thing to try to find people, and she says, and they show the screen, but there's nothing specific. Like, it's not telling me where they are. It's just coming through on the entire ship. The ship is alive.
Yeah.
That's why she was getting the massive life readings, is because whatever entity possessed that ship in the other dimension is there.
Yeah.
So that is canonically it then, is another entity possesses the entirety of the ship,
Yeah.
and then eventually possesses Sam Neill.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Or at
Understood.
least
Yeah.
corrupts him slowly
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing. And once he's there, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna have to rewatch this movie without my carbon monoxide colored glasses on, and just see how this reads as an actual like space
If
horror
you
like that.
if you watch this movie deprived of oxygen, I'm sure it'd be a whole different trip.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So when you're watching it again, okay,
Mhm.
just keep in mind too that the spacesuits that they're wearing
Yeah.
when they go into the ship, okay, those things weigh like 40 pounds.
Whoa.
And they couldn't stand in them after a certain amount of time without damaging their back. But the problem was they couldn't sit down in those things. So off to the side, they made standing brackets that the actors could walk over to and like hook themselves into so they could rest. So just imagine the actors all lined up on these hooks, just, taking a break between shots.
Just chilling. Oh, I love movie magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and there is one of the people that helped with this came out a few years ago. Oh, and there's always been talk of a director's cut to get like the full effect of what the movie should have been out. The problem is this was made in 1997. The first DVDs didn't really start being mass-producedly sold until the following year, and special features weren't a thing on home video yet. So like my DVD that I have is one of those releases, and it doesn't have any like behind-the-scenes special features on it. So most of these scenes were destroyed. Now, supposedly, one of the like producers has a VHS tape that has everything on it, but they haven't watched it yet. because him and the director haven't been in the same country with a VCR yet, apparently, to actually watch it to see if it's all there.
What country are they in? I'll go get them.
So they want to. Anderson really, really, really wants and hopes that it's in somewhat decent condition, that they could run it through some filters and fix those scenes up a little bit and actually get a director's cut out. It mainly has to do with like the body horror stuff, Devin, that you said before. And yeah, I mean, I really can't wait for it. I mean, even though like I'm not really a big body horror, like a body horror person, like gore, it's different in this movie for some reason to me, and I don't know how else to explain it.
Is it because it's in space?
I don't know. I think if I had to say why, I think it has to do with the fact that it reminds me of Hellraiser so much.
Yeah, all right, that's fair.
Which is funny because Clyde
Barker.
Actually,
Clive Barker.
He was actually brought on to assist with pre-production with the movie.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
So there's a few other notable names in this I want to talk about. But I need to mention the connection to last week's episode right from the get-go. Ryan or Devin, do you know the connection that I'm talking about?
Not even a little bit, no.
The pilot is played by Sean Pertwee, who is the son of the third Doctor, John Pertwee.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
And the Doctor didn't even show up to save his son. How pathetic.
Well, I think he was dead by that point, so.
Yeah,
Awkward.
But yeah, I was like, as soon as I saw him and I heard him talk, I was like, he looks familiar, and I know that voice. And I was like, oh, yep, that's Alfred from Gotham. That's the Doctor's son. Who I think would be fantastic if they wanted to bring back the third Doctor for a Doctor Who thing. Have him step into his father's role and just play the Doctor. I think that would be like the fact that they haven't done that yet is disappointing. Also, I'm not used to 90s movies with Jason Isaacs where he doesn't play a villain.
That's fair.
Actually, no, let me rephrase that. I'm not used to anything with Jason Isaacs where he doesn't play a villain.
See, the thing is, to me, he's the one. See, like, this is the movie I know him from too, from being like the medic in the movie. So whenever I've seen him later on and he's playing a villain, it used to really throw me off because I'd see him as this like sympathetic, quiet person in the corner who knows Latin.
You weren't putting the word Potter at the end of all of his sentences in this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
I need to check something quick. Because both Jason Isaacs and Sean Pertwee both played a character, and I need to make sure that Sam Neill didn't also play this character in something. Because if he did, that's just too funny. And it doesn't. Okay, go ahead.
While Alan's doing that, another movie connection that this has. So we have Event Horizon being a mixture of Aliens and Hellraiser. We can also throw in The Shining. Because the guy who wrote this movie, Philip Eisner? Eisner. He wanted this to be The Shining in space.
Oh, fun.
Which explains the giant tank of blood that bursts in the in the gravity couch room. The gravity cylinder.
That was odd, and I wouldn't have put that together if you didn't say that. That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah. I wonder what this would be like if it was less intense, though, and more of creeping horror, like The Shining was. I wonder if it would have been more well received.
I feel like this. I feel like this is a little bit more creeping horror than intense because there are scenes like when they are all hallucinating at different things. Like it doesn't like it's not a lot of jump scares.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair. I think my mind just goes immediately to all of the graphic body horror and forgets about the build up to all of that.
I
Well,
just
Good point.
I wish Lawrence Fishburne saved the day with a croquet mallet.
that would have been odd. To
Yeah.
be perfectly honest.
It would have fit.
Yeah. See, to me, the creepiness comes in on the set design, which you have the meat grinder room, the spinning fun house catwalk thing that
The
they have to
gravity
walk
engine.
down.
The gravity engine.
Well, the gravity engine is the ball with
Yeah.
is the sphere. The meat grinder thing, the spinning room, is the catwalk. That's separating the gravity engine from the rest of the ship. And from looking it up, I realized today that that's signify like the 8-7 levels of hell to from Dante's Inferno. So like they
That's
walk
fun.
through that and like the spikes in there. There's like supposedly 8 or 9 or 7 like I guess parts in there, and then that's supposed to be them walking through Dante's Inferno to like the pit of hell, which is where the gravity drive is. If you watch those scenes, the camera's always fixed because they couldn't get a camera guy not to get disoriented and almost fall over while they were filming in there. So all of the camera angles from inside that tunnel is all fixed onto a location. And
That's fun.
and Lawrence Fishburne's run that he does through there. The reason why there were so many like edits or like scene changes is because he couldn't finish running down he couldn't finish a run in one shot, so they had to do cuts of multiple different shots before he'd fall over because he couldn't run in a straight line through it.
Poor guy. That was the one thing I wanted to bring up about the design of the gravity engine. I love that they're like, this is a very sophisticated piece of technological marvel. I'm gonna put some spikes on it. That's metal as hell. Like, why would you put the spikes on it? They serve zero purpose other than to look menacing.
Well, I mean, it worked though, didn't it? It looked menacing, right?
It looked menacing. It definitely did.
So one of my favorite moments of the whole movie is when the ship blows, their ship blows up, and Cooper goes flying into space, and then just jetpacks back down to Neptune.
Yeah.
It was so bizarre. It makes no sense to me. But I was like, you know what? I believe this. This is crazy. But here's my number, so call me maybe.
Yeah, no, I've always loved that scene because his character, to me, his character is comic relief throughout the entire thing.
Oh yeah.
And so the fact that happens to him, especially when he's like, "Why does this always have to happen to me?" Like it's like, how many times have you been lost in space, dude? Like, but yeah, and then of course, my favorite part of this movie is when Sam Neill's character has lost it. He's already gouged his eyes out. He's sold his eyelids shut, and he's talking to Lawrence Fishburne. And it's that whole scene of like, okay, what's going to happen? How are they going to get out of this? Sam Neill is in the captain's chair. And the reason why it's my favorite is because it's also one of the most silliest things to happen in the movie. Because Sam Neill points the rivet gun towards Lawrence Fishburne and says, it's like, I'm not going to miss, because he has no eyes, and he holds it up and it's like, oh, he has no eyes, but he can still see, like that whole thing. And then Cooper hits the window of the ship and Sam Neill just shoots the window with at the sound of him hitting, which to what he just said a minute ago to his action, it does not correlate at all. And then the window just blows out because he made a really, really, really dumb move after, like bluffing pretty much. Like, oh, I'm not going to miss. Yeah, but you shoot the windshield, dude. Come on, you're in space. It's a vacuum.
No.
So I just remembered Isaac. He asked for his fake body double from the scene where his body was hanging from the ceiling. He asked for that after filming.
Why?
The effects crew was so creeped out by the request that they told him, oh, I'm sorry, we can't. There's stuff that we have to do with it because of the studio. They lied to him not to give it to him. Because they were so creeped out at the fact that he wanted this like dead looking version of him that was disemboweled.
I mean, it checks out. He's a Slytherin.
Yeah. Not surprised.
Yeah, I mean, if you have something like, if you're a fan of like the horror genre and something of that is made of you, like, yeah, you'd want that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's weird, but whatever.
It'd be hanging behind me right now.
And it's not like, and it's not like those things last forever because it's probably made of rubber and latex, and it's all going to disintegrate after like 5 years anyway. So, yeah.
So, my last couple things that I have is that I'm really disappointed that I haven't seen Sam Neill do more villain type stuff like this, especially in like the horror genre. Because to me, he nailed this. Like he hit it out of the park from being the like nerdy dork scientist at the beginning of this movie to turning into like a full-on psychopath at the end. Was just amazing to see him do that transformation.
I'm with you. I think he's great in this. I really am. I also think we saw hints of this in the beginning of the first Jurassic Park movie, where he's low-key threatening a kid with a velociraptor claw. I think he was there the whole time. This could tear out your organs. Stop it, Sam Neill. We get it.
He just channeled that. All he did was channel those 3 lines of dialogue for this character.
Yep. It's me.
I mean,
it's me.
I haven't seen Peaky Blinders yet, but I feel like he might play a villain on Peaky Blinders.
Oh, shoot. I'm going to have to keep watching that then.
I tried watching that a little while ago. I liked it. I don't know. For some reason, I didn't continue watching after like the first 2 episodes.
I have a theory. Peaky Blinders is the same thing as Chinese food. You will watch it, you will love it while you're watching it, and then you will immediately forget about it the second you stop watching it. In the same way that you eat Chinese food, you love it, and then you're hungry an hour later. I have watched, I think, 3 seasons of Peaky Blinders, loved every second of all 3 seasons of Peaky Blinders I've watched. I couldn't name even one character or tell you one event that happened in it. I think that's just how that show goes.
So it's like those things from Doctor Who that like you see, and then as soon as you don't see them, you don't know what they are again.
Yes, it's exactly that. And I'm really happy you're making Doctor Who references now. My day is made. I'm going to retire. This is it. I'm good.
I am after Clara's death.
Oh.
I am just after her death.
Did you watch these episodes yet?
The last episode I watched was him in his prison castle for like 1 billion years, doing the same things over and over and over again.
My favorite
That's one
episode.
of the best.
Oh,
yeah.
Ryan.
So
we went back
last episode was watched.
We went back to the beginning and started watching Nine's Run.
Nice. Is it good?
Yeah, I mean, we watched the first episode, so it was fun to, because we ended up watching the Children in Need special that they released last week. Then we started going down the rabbit. It was. Then we started going down the rabbit hole of the other ones that they did, and like the first one that they did was right after Eccleston regenerated into Tenet, and he's talking about the first episode. My wife's like, we should watch that first episode. So we did.
Oh, that's awesome.
So.
Okay. Oh, good.
You all make me happy.
One of the last thing I have, and this is just a little detail thing that I really liked about this movie. It's set in 2040, and so the flags. If you look at the flags on the characters' jumpsuits, they're supposed to signify what country or region or whatever that they belong to. There are 2 British people in this movie, and both of them are wearing not the Union Jack. They're wearing the European Union flag that has like twice as many stars on it, which is funny because of what happened in real life recently.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then the second thing is Sam Neill's jumpsuit has the Australian flag on it, but the Union Jack is taken off, and it's the Aboriginal flag that's in its place.
Oh, I really like that.
That was Sam Neill's idea, because I guess of the way the politics were going in Australia around the time that that he was being brought on for this movie. I guess there were some things going on that made him think that would happen eventually. By like 2047. So he's the one that suggested that, to put the Aboriginal flag in place of the Union Jack on the Australian flag, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
Again, all of this little detail stuff I just learned about today, because when I find a movie that I really like from when I was younger, I've never looked any of this stuff up before.
That's what we're here for.
It's really cool, though.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on Event Horizon we want to say before we wrap this up?
One last thing for me. Did you all catch references that are made in wider pop culture after having watched this movie? Because I did. I had 2 moments where I go, oh, okay, I didn't know that was from this movie. The first one was the pencil through the paper.
Yeah.
Like explaining what a wormhole was. I didn't know that was from this movie. I like that. And then the other one, it's just so stupid. But there was that speech. You're going, do you see? Do you see? And they reference that in a really fun moment in South Park. And I went, South Park did this.
I feel like this isn't the only thing that does the pencil through the paper thing.
I've seen that a lot. Did it start with this? Or is pencil through the paper something else?
I'm trying to think of something else.
It was in Interstellar that came out in 2014.
Yeah.
But I really think that this was the first one to do that. Because in all the movies and things that I've seen, like I've seen people explain it, but not with the poster before.
Yeah, and I think it's just a concept for like astrophysics too. Like it is an actual demonstration. Like what's the shortest distance between 2 points, folding space and time, like wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff.
I wonder if I had like seen a teacher do it and like was like, the teacher's cribbing Event Horizon or something, and they weren't.
Maybe. Crazier things have happened.
It's very fun.
So
that's true. Very fun.
And yeah, so I mean, like I said, like this movie came out in 97, and so for how old you guys are, if you were in like a physics class in high school, I could definitely see a teacher pulling that as a demonstration.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Bold of you to think I took physics in high school.
I didn't either. It's okay.
Neither did I. I'm just saying, like it was the first thing to come to my mind.
I don't know if I ever took a physics class.
I certainly didn't. I did it on purpose because physics is too much math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that does it for our discussion on Event Horizon. I enjoyed this movie. Like I'm probably never going to watch it again, but I might, like if it's on, I might watch it because this was on Showtime for me. So if it's one of those movies that's just on Showtime, I might just throw it back on.
That's good.
So
I'm actually really happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Because being a horror movie, I know it's kind of like hit or miss with you. So
it was more sci-fi, and I can deal with horror sci-fi.
Okay.
So, all right. So next week may be a different day than Tuesday. with the holiday.
Mhm.
Things are a little bit messed up. Ryan, we meant to talk about this before the show. Are you good for Sunday?
This live.
I'm. Yeah, I think I should.
Okay.
Nice.
So
I
join
don't see it
us.
being a problem.
Join us this Sunday for our special show. We're going to be starting our holiday lineup because I think all three of us have holiday movies picked out for the next few weeks. Starting with Devin's pick, The Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a movie that I have never actually seen. I know
Now,
enough.
did you do the thing that I do? You just
What?
assumed you knew it because you saw a few things.
I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never as an adult, I have not sat down and watched this movie. This is not in my rotation for Halloween. It's not in my rotation for Christmas. And I figure I'm glad we're doing it like smack dab in the middle of both holidays. So
It's like perfect timing.
Yeah. And I'm not encouraging it just because I have something to hang up behind me. But tune in next week.
Hang up behind you?
I don't know, maybe. So tune in Sunday live for that episode. We'll be talking about how great it is to have most of the week off while Devin's working. Talking about some Doctor Who because the specials will be out by then. We'll be talking Good Burger too. Like it's gonna be a lot to talk about. It's gonna be a fun show. So join us on Sunday. Maybe we'll make an extended show and do some extra stuff.
Ooh. I like that.
Because it's a Sunday. We can go earlier. We don't have to wait until I get off of work to go live. So join us Sunday for that right here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Assuming that we are still live on all three of those platforms. Last week was not fun. But you can also listen to this podcast and all of our other episodes wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon. Until next time, for You Have to Watch This Podcast, I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devin.
And remember, I'm a dude. He's a dude. She's a dude. We're all dudes. Hey.
Hey.
And I am home.